And yes, I was muted, so good thing I put that in here. I'm not muted now. This is another episode of Live Coding with me, Matt Groves, here on Twitch. This is episode 25. And I'm going to talk about windowing functions. We did a little bit of that last stream. I kind of fumbled with it a little bit, and I'm still fumbling with it, but I actually conferred with a colleague of mine to see if there's maybe a better approach to what I'm doing or a more interesting approach, and I think we came up with something. Still got a lot of work to do on it. But the idea here is that maybe if we get to it, we'll take the output of some windowing function. Hey, it's Calvin. Calvin with the woo. Is it Ghost Calvin? Is he haunting the Twitch stream today? Woo. Hopefully we get the output of a windowing function, a query that uses windowing function, which is kind of interesting. We'll see maybe if we can figure it out. And then plug that into some sort of data visualization, maybe JavaScript or something. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And then, of course, as always, your questions. Ask away. With anything, you know, I'm more of a back-end kind of guy, you know, databases and C# and .NET and whatnot. And you may be hearing some noises in the background. Don't know if this is going to pick up or not, but we still have contractors here working hard in the house, letting the flies in. So maybe some flies bothering me here too. But anyway, if you have questions about anything that's going on, anything you see or anything that you don't see, feel free to ask away, because the motto here is the only stupid question is the one you don't ask. And I actually recently had another chance to say this. I was on a panel at a conference, and we were just answering questions from the audience, and someone said, "Oh, I have a silly question," and right there I was like, "Nope, hold on, your question's not silly. It's only silly if you don't ask it. So please ask away." And it was not a silly question at all. It was definitely not. So don't feel like your question is too simple or stupid or silly. Not here, not in this channel. All right. I'll give a quick plug for my team Live Coders here on Twitch, of which I'm a member, and a lot of people streaming right now. And this is a team of people on Twitch. We're all, what's with this commercial? But we're all streaming code or technology or stuff like that. And we're all part of the same team. There's a lot of us streaming right now, so we might pick one of these to raid later. It'd be nice if we could raid Ed, although I think he started about an hour and a half ago, so he may not be still streaming when we're done. But I don't think I raided him yet. Anyway, lots of other great people we could raid later. But yeah, if you're looking for some live coding here on Twitch, this is a good place to start. You can go to twitch.tv/team/livecoders. Lots of different topics, lots of different personalities, lots of different time zones, lots of different people here to check out. Pretty much any time of day, any time of week, someone will be streaming. So definitely check that out. All right, what else we got? Quick plug for the Awesome Developers streaming list. This is a text file, basically, on GitHub. And it's a curated list of developers who stream, like me, on Twitch, but also people on YouTube, people on Mixer, people on whatever else, Periscope, Facebook, etc. And you can just do a Control F here. So bring this up in your browser, github/bnb/awesome-developer-streams, and do a Control F. And if you're looking for someone talking about ASP.NET, well, there we go. There's Steve Smith coming up at the top of the list. And Codebase Alpha and CodeRush, etc. So if you're looking for a topic, looking for a streamer, this is a huge list of awesome developers who are streaming. So definitely check it out. What's with this awesome icon here? What does that mean? It's just, oh, okay, interesting. There's lots of other awesome lists. This is one of them. Very cool. All right, what else we got? Oh, you know what? I better turn on the old chat bot here before I forget. Sorry, Calvin, your haunting woo message was not captured. So you have to woo again if you want it to be captured in the database. But if you're looking for old episodes, I'm going to go back to the library. Maybe I've streamed about something or I mentioned something. Hey, Coral, drop it in the woo as well. A database full of woo. It's a haunted channel today. Haunted Twitch. Woo. If you're looking for old episodes, if I mentioned an old episode, or you're just curious, looking at highlight clips, things like that, they're all on Twitch, of course, but they expire after a certain period of time, so I also export them to YouTube. So you can find those at bit.ly/GrovesTube. Spooky. That almost looks like Kooky Crisp. Anyway, bit.ly/GrovesTube. Also, over here on the bottom of the screen, you can see links to all the stuff that's going on. That was a good cereal. Cookie Crisp? It's still around, I think. Although I vaguely remember they changed the recipe at some point, and it wasn't as good. Like, it was healthier, but whatever poison it was that made it taste good, I think they took it out. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. All right. Swag giveaway. I got some swag sitting around here in my office. It's not doing me any good. So I want to give it to you. Yes, you. Whoever's watching this, I want to give you some swag. So just follow me on Twitch, and the address is right over here. If you're watching this on YouTube, twitch.com/MatthewDGroves. Really easy to follow me. And then all I'm asking you to do besides a follow is promise me that you're going to post a selfie to Twitter with #Couchbase and whatever swag I give you. So if it's a t-shirt or it's something else, just selfie of yourself with it. Selfie of yourself, kind of redundant. A selfie with the swag, #Couchbase. That's all. That's all I'm asking. And to do that, all you got to do is send me your Twitch name so I know who you are. I can check to see that you're following. And your address so I know where to send your item. And I'll send you some free swag while I've got it. So I have a limited supply. It's just extra stuff from left over from conferences and other events that I have. So you can contact me on Twitter, mgroves, or you can email me. This is my personal email address, me@mgroves.com. Just say, hey, I want some swag. Hook me up. And if you don't have Twitter, that's fine. We'll figure something out. But please, one per person. And but one per person. But tell everyone you know. If you know someone likes free swag, or would like this, I'm going to show you the swag in a second. Tell them. Say, hey, if you want some free swag, go to this channel. Tell them who you are. Tell them your address. We'll send you something for free. Now, I have t-shirts. I can't guarantee t-shirt sizes. So this is an example of a t-shirt right here. This one is a men's large. Now, I have mostly men's. I think I have a few women's cut shirts in various sizes. I've had sizes up to 3X and down to like women's small. I don't know what I have right now. It's a mishmash. It's a mishmash of sizes. So I'll just, tell me the size you like. I'll see if I have one. I've also got these fine, high-quality aluminum water bottles with the Couchbase developer community logo on them. These are really good water bottles. I use a couple of them myself. They're very nice. Happy to send you one of those. Everyone drinks water, right? So if you get a t-shirt size, you at least get some water bottle. I've also got a few of these high-quality, handcrafted, locally sourced, not really, notebooks full of blank pieces of paper to write your thoughts or draw doodles or what have you. And I can send you one of those as well. And everyone will get a sticker, of course. It says developer. It says developer community approved. I'll throw a sticker in with any swag that I send you. If you're outside the U.S., I might be able to help you out. Assuming it's legal for me and assuming it doesn't cost a fortune to do so, I will ship it to you. And I'm doing this on my own. So this is not a official Couchbase thing. This is just swag that I have in my office. I'm paying for the shipping myself. So I want to do it, absolutely. But this is not an official Couchbase program. Just keep that in mind. If you're not on Twitter, contact me anyway. If you want some swag, we can work something out. I want to give you the swag. It's not doing me any good here in my office. So I'd rather it be out in the world helping somebody by having a shirt to wear or drinking some water or being able to take notes. These are all things I want you to do that I'm not doing with this stuff right now. So let's get that going. TwitchBot is up and running now, storing chat messages into a database. I'm not doing anything with them, not yet, but I'm just storing them. We can query them or whatever, but anything you write in the chat room is going to be stored in the database, and that's it. Okay, so what are we doing today? Okay, look at all this scary looking stuff here. So this is what I'm doing here. I'm working on window functions, and sort of a related concept is CTE, which are common table expressions. And I've come up with a query that's going to look at user profile information, specifically the events for user profile. We talked about this on Tuesday, so if you're not familiar, go check out the phone call. Go check out the archive over here. Last episode or two kind of showed you what I was getting at with that. However, what I think is and I discussed this with my teammate, Dennis Rosa, based in Munich, Germany. He thought of a better idea for a windowing function usage, and he was thinking, instead of looking at, as I was before, looking at individual users, it would be more interesting to break down activities into like 15-minute chunks, like 15-minute windows, just to monitor activity of your website along kind of like a time series approach. So you could see, oh yes, it seems like between 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock, the number of people adding items to carts is high. But before then, there's a window from like 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. where hardly anyone's adding anything to carts, things like that. So it'd be interesting dashboard trend analysis sort of thing, and you can compare it year over year, month over month, etc. Someone left me a voicemail. Must be a recruiter. They're the only ones that leave voicemails around here. Despite my very salty voicemail message that says, you can contact me other places. And I prefer that you did that. Anyway, so that's what I'm looking at. So let's just copy this over. This is what I've been working on. This is not a final query yet, so I'm not doing a Julia Child sort of thing and just taking it out of the oven. This is a work in progress. So you can kind of see here that this part here is the CTE. And that's the common table expression. So it's kind of basically a way of me saying, okay, take this query and we'll call it that. And then down here we can use that to select from, as if it were a table. It's a common table expression. And within this common table expression, this is something that's not unique to Couchbase, by the way. You can see the with syntax on like SQL Server, for instance, which I've used it there before. And then this part here was one of the hardest things to kind of figure out is, all right, so if you look at user profile data, oh, someone's out there. So let me zoom ahead to some user events. I don't know if you can hear the background talk there, but some of the contractors are discussing various contractor things. It's probably just easier if I do this. Filter to like, and I think I called it user event. Like so. Yes. So you can see here created date. This is a timestamp, and it's down to the millisecond here. Now what I want to do is I want to translate this into a 15-minute interval. And so that is what this is doing here, and it's kind of difficult to understand what's going on. And, but I kind of want to break it down here. So it's taking the minute from the date and dividing it by 15, and it's rounding it to 0 decimal points, and then it's multiplying it by 15, and then it's taking the and then it's adding the hour. So it's adding, this is an add function, it's adding the hour of the date to the minute that we just parsed out. And that's going to give us the a segment. So you can see it's a 15-minute segments here, 11:15, 11:15, and so on, 11:30, So it's a more segmented table view. You see it's more segmented dates there. And also getting, so the rest of this stuff, the idea here is kind of, maybe I can just kind of, let's get a little whiteboard going here. Unless you have a suggestion for a better like whiteboarding app, I'd be very interested in that. Okay, so what I'm trying to think here is we can sort of plot this out, and this is going to be, this is over T, right? And so we'd have, why isn't this staying? So we could have, man, what? That's weird. I don't see a toolbar. So anyway, we could have, okay, like so. And then another color could be like probably close to it like this, is what I would imagine. And then maybe a third one that's just like totally unrelated. Sort of just whatever, right? And then what I'm imagining, and this is a visualization I want to get to. So this is like views. Oh, you can't really see that. Let's just do it in regular old color. There we go. This would be views. This would be like add to cart for red, and blue would be, what's our third activity type? Event type. Profile updated. So this is probably what I was thinking. Profile updated, and this would be item viewed. This would be item added to cart. Now I don't know if the day is going to actually look like this or not, but I would expect that in reality, I don't have real data, I have simulated data, but in reality, an item viewed is going to be followed by an item added to cart. It probably wouldn't be the same magnitude, but you can kind of see I'm going for a lag there. And profile updated might not have any relation to items adding to the cart at all. But it would be nice to see a chart of this, right? And then, so what I've done is I've broken the data down into these 15-minute increments, like so. So this would be, you know, 0015, this would be 0030, 0045, etc. 15-minute increments. That's kind of the idea I'm going for here. So the first step to visualization, of course, is actually getting the data in the correct format here. So let's go back to the whiteboard. What would I expect the data to look like to produce this kind of, let's just double this up here, give some more room. What would I expect the data to look like that would return this type of chart? So it would be probably, we'd have, let's think about this. If I'm going to plot these points, it's not really plotting points, right? It's total number. So we'd have like for item added to cart. So it would be, oh, what happened? I'm trying to zoom in over here because I can't when I'm in text mode. Okay, so item added to cart data would look like this. It would say 0015 and then 5, 0030 and then 7, 0045, 20, and then like back down to 7, that sort of thing, etc. That's what I expect it to look like. Okay. So if that's the case, in my code here, what I want is where e dot event type equals, what did I say? Let's just go with product viewed. Event type equals 0. This is product viewed event. So hypothetically, whenever someone goes into our e-commerce site or whatever and they view a product, okay, now we've registered that action, we've registered that event, it should be event type, to this particular user. And so we want to do like this. Is that going to give me what I want? Okay, that seems incorrect. Is it because I have user broken out in here? Yeah, this seems wrong because it should be number of events segment. The segment should be the segment should be it should only be one of the segment, right? Like this row looks okay, but the second row through, n, there shouldn't be multiple of those. Because we also might want to put a between on here. We might want to say, okay, for the last 30 days, for the last week, the last, hour, that sort of thing. Hour might not be so great, but etc. And we may, in the future, we may want to make this something other than 15-minute increments. We want to make a 1-minute increment, depending on our volume, things like that. How much detail we want. So something's not right here. Partition by segment, yeah, that makes sense. And I want to show the segment and the count over that segment as number of events. Why don't we look at just this query? What does this actually show? So this shows, it's taking every event and it's saying, okay, here's the type and here's the segment that it's in. And it's just a raw, there's 409 documents here, and there's 409 total user event documents. So that's just total raw data. So I'm putting that in a CTE. I'm saying from that raw data, give me the segment, and give me the number of events. But partition it by segment. Am I doing this right? Do I even need that? Yeah, I need the segment in there. Go back to my whiteboard. I need segment and then number, segment number, segment number. But I don't need to have the number be, or the segment be duplicated. It's ordered by segment. That's kind of important to show the data in order. That makes sense. Limit 100. I don't need to limit 100, but I don't think that's affecting the incorrect results here. Over partition by segment. Is it maybe by event type? I don't think that makes sense. Partition by event type? No, that's not what I want either. Segment. Count over partition by segment. I don't think I need to bring event type into the partition because they all should be the same event type, so it wouldn't make sense to partition that. Product viewed event 0. I want to do a count. Do I want to do a sum of the count? That doesn't make sense, does it? Or do I want, maybe I just want to do this. No, not quite what I want either. I feel like I'm definitely missing something. Do a count of everything over this partition. Let me bring up that blog post again. This was doing something similar with sales data. And of course, this was doing sums, not counts, but same thing should apply. Partition by account ID. The account ID shows up multiple times here. I don't want, so in this case, the account ID is kind of analogous to my time segment, but I want unique time segments to show up there. Is that maybe what I need in my... It's always event types. Do I want to make this a group by? Group by this and this. Okay, so maybe that's what I want. Inside here. No, what I want is a sum of num events, e.num events over. I think this is what I want. So what it's telling me is I've only got 4 segments here. This is because of the way I'm creating my fake data. So maybe I do something a little different with the fake data. I'm creating user events here. And it is, yeah, all it's doing is taking the current date time and it's subtracting up to 300 seconds from it at random. 300 seconds, I mean, that's 5 minutes. So they're all going to be in the same window. So I need to make it a more scattered type of dates. Scattered. Let's see, we can make it user event.create dates equals. So I always want it to be in the past. Datetime dot now. So I want to maybe add seconds, always in the past, times. So maybe just like a bigger number. That's all I really need. Something more than like somewhere in the 30-minute range, right? So we're talking 30 minutes times seconds, 1800. Is that going to be enough? Maybe like if I spread it out, I want it to be a fairly long chart. I need a lot more information to make this an interesting visualization. Let's spread it out over a day. So how many seconds in a day? 24 hours? I should know this. I should memorize this by now. 60, 86,400. Okay, and yep. So I'm just going to generate some more fake data. Okay, I guess I'm not going to generate some more fake data. And it was populates. Okay, so we go back over here. Yeah, you can see it's more spread out. Calvin, I just finished the third iteration of a flowchart. Coding is lame. Drawing shapes is better. I see. Few arrows, it's all good. You'd rather draw shapes than write code? So I remember when I was in college, they kind of wanted us to do flowcharts first, and then we write the program to go along with the flowchart. Those are very, very simple programs. Yeah, I know you're kidding, Calvin. I can't not do them anymore for some of the Learning Builder stuff. You can't not do a flowchart. Flowcharts can get out of hand for complex situations, right? But sometimes it helps you think through the whole deal. I'm going to add some more Coral. I code charts in Plant UML. Oh, I think I found someone who's still using UML. This one spans 2 pages just for a can show this item. I'm going to populate a few more times here. Just try to get a little more interesting set of data. Each one of these refreshes creates, I think, 100 users and like up 100-ish events per user. So we'll see what happens here. Yeah, it's really kind of spread out. And it's really heavy back in yesterday when I was doing a lot of this work. What is Plant UML? As I remember, I took a UML class in college. I hated it. I hated UML. It made no sense to me. Some of the UML tools, like a sequence diagram, make sense to me. But like the whole UML idea, I thought was just absolutely just awful. Use Lucidchart for all the things. So Plant UML is a component that allows, okay. So it's something that allows you to write these individual diagrams. So it's not a UML like system per se, but it's all the different UML tools. The top bar on the site shows all the chart types it supports. Okay, yeah, right up here, I'm guessing. So like activity. This is kind of cool, actually. I could, does this generate images? Because I could certainly use this for some content. I've been using something called, oh shoot, what was it called? I'm using some sort of asciidoc tool, asciidoc plugin, to generate images based on, basically on ASCII. But it's kind of a pain sometimes. This looks like more like what I want for drawing diagrams. Let me see if I can figure out what that tool is called that I'm using. Yeah, I can output to ping, SVG, etc. Can output to TIFF. TIFF is what I need. TIFF or PCX. Any PCX? Assets, images. Yeah, okay. Here's what I'm using. I'm using DITA. That's what I'm using. It's called DITA. And you basically just draw like this. You draw ASCII diagrams, and DITA will convert them into images. And I use DITA because it sort of integrates with asciidoctor. But I mean, as you can tell, this one is kind of annoying. If I want to add another box in here or something, you have to have a really good. So you got to tab this over, and you got to add the arrow in here, and all that. It's just kind of a pain. It's still better than like drawing them in Visio or in Paint or something, because you can at least check them in a source control, things like that. But I'm liking what I'm seeing here with Plant UML a little better. But I'm wondering how I could maybe integrate this with asciidoc, or maybe there is a Plant UML asciidoc plugin or something. That would be rad. If I could just copy this right into an asciidoc file and have asciidoc figure it out, that would be great. Data is okay for some static diagrams. Emacs has a mode for editing them. But for structure stuff, I prefer to toss it in Plant UML. Yeah, I don't use Emacs. I'm sure Visual Studio Code has a mode for it too, but I haven't figured it out quite yet. And, it's kind of a pain. It's better than, you know, doing it with, like I used to do XML Mind and things like that, I think. But I really want to explore this Plant UML some more. So, Plant UML, ASCII Doctor. What has Calvin sent me? A Dropbox link. I'll just click it. This is what I'm working on. It's kind of blurry. I'm guessing you've blurred out the sensitive things, or am I just too far out? Oh, you blurred it out. Okay. My life. I can see all the branching. Yeah, it looks quite a lot. Preview asciidoc with Plant UML and VS Code. This is perfect. This is exactly what I want. If this works, that's exactly what I want. I want to inline Plant UML. The only thing is, I don't like, I don't think we use Plant UML for the couch-based doc system. So I'd probably still have to do something to automate that. But if I could preview it right there in Visual Studio as I'm writing the doc, I mean, that is kind of right up my alley. Szechuan sauce, yeah. Yeah, this is exactly what I want. This is exactly what I want. If I can just figure out how to render it. Like if this just spits out an IMG or a IMG, a PNG or something like that, I can figure the rest out. That's pretty rad. Okay, I'm going to definitely just sort of keep that one over here on my other screen to look at later. That's very cool. Thank you for that, Coral. Now, Calvin, you were saying you're using Lucidchart. Let's see what Lucidchart is. It's an online diagram software and visualization tool. Visual solution. Sorry. Create any diagram with Lucidchart. Okay, so this is kind of more like Visio sort of thing. Yeah, Visio on the web. There you go. Yeah, I mean, this is fine. Except, I mean, can you, if it's just a binary, it's difficult to put in source control, and you know, making changes to it requires opening up a file and resaving an image and things like that. So it's a little less automated than I'd like. Start diagramming online. Free, you gotta sign up. Otherwise, I'd show it here. Ah, that's cool. Got a free version. I logged out. Okay. Well, anyway, thank you for the Plant UML. Looks very cool. Judging by your shocked face there, Coral, maybe you weren't aware of the Plant UML asciidoc capabilities there. Okay. No, I was shocked at one function. Oh, that Calvin was showing? Yeah, so Calvin works on a, it's not, it's very complex. It's very configurable. It's not that it's, you know, normally you look at a chart like this and say, woof, you're doing something wrong. But, I mean, they really are, they're supporting very complex scenarios. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. asciidoc and org solve some of the same problems, so it's not surprising that our tools overlap. asciidoc and org? What's org? Oh, is org what you're using with Plant UML, what have you? I'm going to populate some more data here. Part of creating this chart will lead me into refactoring it. Orgmode.org. Of course it makes sense, orgmode.org. Org mode is for keeping notes, maintaining to-do lists, planning projects, and authoring documents with a fast and effective plain text system. Well, I like the plain text part. Structured plain text. Okay. Yeah, there's some overlap there with asciidoc, because asciidoc is, I mean, there's structure to it, but it's not like primarily about the structure. It's more like about the content. So I can definitely see some overlap there. I'm just going to keep hitting refresh to add more fake data to my database. How much do I have in there right now? I've got 3,500. Oh, nope. 4,200 bits of user events. I need to do a podcast with you on it sometime. I need to get the podcast started back up again. Yeah, it's really been slumping the podcast. I don't like the spam crap, but I just designed a killer t-shirt. Dude, you are a mod in this channel. If you want to put a link in there, put a link in there. Recursion, see shirt back. Okay, let's look at the back of the shirt. I wonder what it says. Recursion, see shirt front. Okay, well, I was just there, but I'll go back and look again. Recursion, see shirt back. You know, I feel like I'm kind of stuck in a kind of a loop here. Recursion, see shirt front. You know, the problem with this shirt, Calvin, is that they're going to keep looking back and forth, and they're not going to be able to hit the add to cart button. See shirt back. Geeksmart.shop is the, I guess, experiment that Calvin's doing with some, I don't know, swag, merchandising. Careful, you seem to be maintaining state, knowing you're at the other side. Be careful not to blow your stack. Yeah, I was headed toward the Stack Overflow for sure. But yeah, so I did something with a Cafe Press store, and I told Calvin about this design. Well, similar design that they came up with. Mine was in all caps, but I'm kind of digging the all caps version. I could definitely use this mug. Imposter. I don't know about that. That's a little weird. Can we try rebooting your personality? This one seems a little a little aggressive. I have a new appreciation for Shopify. Is that what we're using here? Shopify? See, I'm not sure if I want black on white or white on black. Yeah, and apps to do the merch itself. What's apps? I just assume you were drawing these in Paint or something. Photoshop. Yeah, Shopify is actually, it's a pretty rich like ecosystem of developers in there. Like they have, like Shopify has like developer advocates. That's how deep that stuff goes, the third-party stuff, and the APIs. Other companies that tie into Shopify where you design the stuff, and then when somebody buys it, the third-party drops. Oh, okay. Oh, so I didn't even think about that, but I guess you've done the integration between, okay, here's my Shopify site, and if someone buys it, someone will actually going to make it and ship it to you. I do nothing. Yeah, a lot of the drop shipping on Shopify. In fact, there was an episode of Reply All podcast about drop shipping. If I can find it somewhere. If you're not listening to Reply All, by the way, you should listen to it. This is a tremendous podcast. Episode 117 of Reply All was all about drop shipping and Shopify. And yes, this is a good one. And it was the whole premise was the world's most expensive free watch. So this guy was kind of a sucker for like buying the really cheap junk that's advertised on like Instagram. Anyway, this is an excellent podcast. Reply All. Not every episode is really compelling and great, but a lot of them are. and it's definitely on my must-listen-to list. It's from Gimlet, and I believe they are owned by Spotify now, or something like that. But yeah, so Shopify is a big one. Do a lot of drop shipping and stuff like that. So some more fake data in here. Okay, well, I mean, it's not super crazy amounts, but I could probably get a decent visualization out of that, right? All right, so then the question then is, how do we actually turn this into a visualization? What do you use for visualization in JavaScript, Mr. Calvin Allen, or Coral, or anyone who's viewing? What do you use for visualization? Someone in the stream Tuesday, or maybe last Thursday, was showing some cool visualization stuff. What I want to check is event visualization, I guess. I'll just call it event time series. Let's call it that. Async task, my action results. Whoa! My action result. I used something a while back that tied into Elasticsearch or something. Kibana, maybe? Yes, Kibana is part of the old Elk stack. I don't know if it works with anything other than Elastic, though. I could be wrong about that. Get a time series data for event type. And we'll say enum. No, event type. Event type. Paste that in there. Who doesn't like it? I thought this would do escaping for me automatically. Yeah, there we go. What's that other popular one? I haven't used it. D3. I've heard of D3. I remember Dan Schultz. Dan Schultz on the Cross-Cutting Concerns podcast. That's not how you spell Schultz. I guess I'll have to search my own site. I don't know if D3 is going to return any results. That's why I'm not searching. Oh, there it is. Dan Schultz. Hopefully I spell his name right. On data visualization, yes. D3, data-driven documents. Is that the visualization, or is it DC? They kind of go together, I think, right? High charts. I've used high charts before. Maybe use that with there at heuristics. Okay. All right, but anyway, I need to make an endpoint here to actually return the data. That's kind of what I'm doing here. And this event type. To know, the example gallery has some nice ones. A J3 or d3js.org. All I need is a real simple, just sort of linear, like time series sort of deal. I don't know what you call them. I looked into Vega/Vega Lite a while back. Really liked how they define visualizations. Vega Lite. All this is probably overkill for this, though. Yeah, you're probably right about that. A grammar of interactive graphics. We can start with the bar chart, the average monthly precipitation. Yeah, a bar chart might be a good place to start. That's probably simple enough, right? This is just a JavaScript library, as I assume, Vega Lite? Or is this something that I create on the back end and serve up an image? Okay, well, let's get the endpoint done here first. Type. So, what I want, yeah, it's JS. Okay, yeah, it's JavaScript. All right, so I also want a start date and end date, because those are also going to be parameters I pass in here. So, and what do I want? I want e.segment between, let's say 2019-08-06 and 2019-08-07. That ought to do it. May need some better indexing. Oh, between is not inclusive? Or because it's... because it's doing it lexicographically. Because I'm storing them by strings. Which I probably shouldn't store them as strings, but storing them as strings. Yeah, there we go. Okay. What's the index it's using for this? Project order. Where's the indexing? I guess I could probably... Here, let me move this. Oops. What's with the oops? Ah. Date types are important. Yeah. So Couchbase supports both. Well, so JSON doesn't have a data type, or doesn't have a data type, right? Infamously, Couchbase supports storing it as either a string or as a integer, like a long, and has functions for dealing with both. Right, but ultimately in JSON you're storing it either as a number or as a string. And I think generally, like our professional services people recommend that you store a date in Unix epoch format, right? But I don't know, something about this, what do you call it, ISO, what's that? What do you call it, ISO 8601? I like that date format. I know it may cause like additional overhead and probably takes more space to store this string, but I just like it better. I don't know. Something wrong with me, maybe. Yeah, obviously this string takes up more space than a long would take, for instance, right? Probably, yeah. But, you know, whatever. This is a little bit more easy for me to read than a timestamp, right? I can't, in my head, I can't translate a timestamp to, hey, is that last week or was that 10 years ago? I have no idea. So, but yeah, for in production, you probably want to use a Unix timestamp, not a string, unless you have a good reason to otherwise, which I don't really, other than I just like to read it. Yeah, time zone. So I think that's what this part is here. This is time zone calculation. So this is all being stored as UTC, I believe. Or whatever the format is where you encode the time zone in with the date. Yeah. In general, dates and times is just such a mess. It's such a hot mess. Not even scratching the surface, it's a hot mess. When you get deeper into time zones and all that kind of stuff, like all the stuff that John Skeet's been into, ooh, no thank you. No thank you. Anyway, so yeah, I want to parameterize this. I want to parameterize these. So bring this up here. So this is going to be event type. This is going to be start date. Offsets aren't time zones, and time is an illusion. And at lunchtime, doubly so. Yeah, time is an illusion. Okay, result equals bucket dot... Wait, there's no bucket? Oh, because, yeah. It should all be in a repository. That's the main problem here. Result equals user repository dot It's just going to be a thin wrapper. I could put some, what do you call it, validation on here, but again, this is not a production app per se, so I'm not super worried about it. This is just an example for a tutorial. The actual time series data, I mean, it could just be dynamic, but we probably want to do a list of something. I don't know, slice. Let's call it slice for now. Let's put that in here. Buckets dot query. This is probably also a query that should be run inside of Couchbase Analytics, which I think supports CTEs and window functions, I think. But this is definitely the type of query that would be better off there and not directly in your production database. And N1QL. Something not right here. Oh, I know what it is. Need to parameterize. Query equals query request.create. Give it a string. Query.add named parameters. Event type. I'm going to hope that it serializes this correctly from an enum to the underlying number, numeric representation. Add name parameter, start date. Date query.add name parameter, end date. Okay. And return result. Okay, so this slice, I don't know if that's a good name for it. Probably we want like, I mean, do we even need to translate it into an object? I'm not going to do anything with it. I just return the object straight up. I don't even need to, I don't know. This is kind of one of the areas of using a NoSQL database with a statically typed language like a static and strongly typed language like C# and Java, is that you don't have the impedance mismatch problem, but you do have the dynamic versus static problem. Whereas, if you're using JSON data, it kind of feels a little more natural. Like if you're in JavaScript or PHP, it's just whatever the database returns to me, I'll just use that. But I mean, C# has the idea of dynamic, which is a static object of type dynamic. So it's a little weird, but let's just return that. I think that's probably a pretty good compromise, because all I'm only doing is turning around and returning that. Nothing else special. All the work's being done in this query, where the limit 100 needs to go. That doesn't need to be there. And the comment doesn't need to go either. Okay, and yep, okay. Why is this green? Oh, because this needs to be async. Task of list. And this needs to be query async. Whoops. This awaits. There we go. Doesn't like trunk. Still was not happy with this. Oh. There we go. That's better. Everything else look good here. I've got everything parameterized like I should. So let's bring up my favorite API tool. Well, second favorite API tool, Postman. We'll give it a try. Time is an illusion. That's right. Okay, we'll fire up my endpoint here. And it is supposed to be, what is it? Event time series. But the URL is localhost 5000. Right, this should not work, right? This should be a 400 or 500. Because I didn't give it any, huh? What in the world? I'm supposed to specify these things here. So what did it actually do? I expect that to give me an error. Okay, send this, and then we should hit a breakpoint over here. Product viewed. Oh, so it's default, but those are both null. Oh, because I put the question marks there. Huh? The sign of a programmer hard at work. Yeah. That's a noise you're going to hear a lot. If you're in the same office as me. Huh? Okay, so I need some validation here. If event type equals null, then we're going to return bad request. You must specify an event type. If start date, wait, is there a has value up here? Yes, that's what I want. If it's not the case, the start date has a value. Return bad request. You must specify a start date. Same thing for end date. You must specify an end date. Now, there are some better ways to do validation in C#. Like you could put some, like I could make this a class and then put some attributes on the class, but this is probably fine for now. Event type.value, event type start date.value. So at this point, they should all have values. Now, it doesn't mean they'll be sane values, so additional validations should be in there, but we're not in QA here. Those should be like that. Okay. All right, bring this back up here, and now I should get some errors, some 500 errors. Yep, there we go. Must specify an event type, so I can say event type equals 0, send. Okay, and whoops, and start date equals 2019 08/06, and end date, and end date equals 2019-08 dash, I don't know, 09. Why not? It's going to return some actual data to me? Well, looky there. That's exactly what I wanted. So I could take this data and plug it all into a visualization. That's the idea there. So let's take this and example endpoint, or example HTTP, example URL, just like that. Okay, so now I've got some data being returned from my windowing function, or my query that uses window functions. Let's get into a visualization. So first I have to get a web page, right? Actually, so this project's all web API right now. But I think I can add some actual regular old web pages to it. If I create a www root folder, should have a special icon, yep. And I don't know, let's add a HTML page to that. It can just be a plain old static HTML page, I think. And we'll call this, what do I call this? Event, user event. Just user events, how's that? User event visualization here. Just see if that works. I think it should. User events HTML. It doesn't like it. Well, it doesn't like it. User events HTML. What am I doing wrong here? Do I need to recompile? I did recompile. So I've got an HTML page. It's in www root. User events. Does it need to be? Let me think about this. ASP.NET Core www. Is there another folder it needs to be in? Static. Oh, you know what? I think I need to add something to the pipeline, don't I? Yeah, right here. Use static files, which would be startup right here. Yeah. App.use static files. See if that works. There we go. Easy as that. Okay. This is kind of, I gotta get used to this because I came from, in my web development days, it started with ASP Classic, which was all file system based. ASP.NET, which was heavily file system based. And then to ASP.NET MVC, which was initially kind of a hack on top of ASP.NET. So it also kind of used the file system. To now .NET Core, which unless you tell it to specifically, it will pretty much ignore the file system in terms of serving up web pages. So that's something I gotta get used to. Something I haven't done enough times to have it seared into my brain. Okay. So there we go. I'm done, right? I'm the back-end developer. That's it. I'm done. I'm handing this off to the front-end developer, right? I wish I could do that. I don't have a front-end developer that I could pass this off to. So I need to bring in some visualization stuff. So let's just see how hard is it going to do. How hard is it going to be to bring in like a really simple D3, whatever, bar chart or something. Stacked bars, doesn't need to be that complicated. Interactive Bible contradictions, what world? These must be like, holy cow, there's so many. These are just examples? These are just examples. I want like, yeah, just give me the documentation. Give me like the how do I go about doing this? All right, it looks like there is a minified version, so I can just sort of drop that in up here in the header. Or is it, this is JavaScript, so it probably won't be at the end, right? D3 is somewhat low level for defining charts, if I recall correctly. I don't know if I've used D3 before. I know I've used something like heist charts before, and something else. Supported environments. Yeah. What is all this? Node and web workers. I don't really care about any of that. I just want really simple tutorial. Let's look at tutorial. Simple bar chart video tutorial. I would watch the video tutorial, but now you're watching video of me watching video. A little bit meta. Let's make a bar charts. Part 1. Say you have a little data, an array of numbers. A bar chart is simple yet perceptually accurate way to visualize such data. I have a little bit more complex than that. I don't just have an array of numbers. I have an array of pairs, essentially. Coding a chart manually. Yeah, fine. Coding a chart automatically. Part 2. Let's see if part 2 is a little more complicated. No. Okay, so let's go back. Part 1. Selecting an elephant. Selecting an element, not an elephant. Okay, in vanilla JavaScript, you typically deal with elements one at a time. For example, create a div element, set its contents, then append it to the body. Okay, I don't necessarily need to create a div from scratch. I can just, put one in there. Like put my user event visualization. I can just hard code a div right in there. With D3, you instead... Oh, wait. With D3, you instead handle groups of related elements called selections. Yep, fine. Working with elements en masse gives selections their power. You can manipulate a single element or many of them without substantially restructuring your code. Okay, a selection can be created in myriad ways. Yep. So I'm familiar with the jQuery selector stuff. I like jQuery selector stuff. Fine. Chaining methods. Okay, fine. But what I want to do is code a chart. I kind of know this stuff already. This is all good to put in a tutorial like this, but let me try to skip ahead. Hard coding isn't practical for most data sets. The point of the tutorial is to teach you how to create charts from data automatically. So now let's create the identical structure using D3, starting with an empty page that contains only a div of class chart. The following script selects the chart container and then appends a child div for each bar with the desired width. So type equals text JavaScript. Something like this, and mine's not going to be a class of chart, mine's going to be an ID of user event visualization. So and I don't have any data yet, but just put some placeholder in there for now. Enter? What's the enter do? Since we know the selection is empty, the return, update, and exit selections are also empty, and we need only enter. Handle the enter selection represents new data, for which there is no existing element. We instantiate these missing elements by appending to the enter selection. Not sure I quite understand that. What else? Style D times 10 for width. Okay, well, I don't know. Let's just see what happens, I guess. Where's my... Not really what I wanted to see. Like an object is also a function that returns. Yeah, I'm not, I don't know, this tutorial is not really doing it for me. Let me go back to one of those examples, I guess. Just see what those examples can look like. I mean, these are like just a histogram. It's a real simple histogram. Wait, examples. This is where it was, right? Yeah. Histogram. Histogram chart. Okay, that's kind of what I want. Let's see, newer histogram example. Unemployment rate by county. Wow, what is all this? This seems like a lot. Although, this is interesting. It's calling out to some CSV file, which is kind of what I want to do. Employment rate by counties. So it's zip, state, county, and then rate. But all it's showing in this example is, oh, well, this is doing some sort of transformation of data, which I don't necessarily need to do that. Let me go back to this. Irwin Hall distribution. What? What is that? Datum. Is this just, you know, I want to make sure. Okay. This is some serious copy and paste programming right here. Feature select body. I want like this. It's not, nothing's showing up. What am I doing wrong here? Is this, I mean, looks like it's working. Yeah, that's working. What am I doing wrong here? There's no, where did my example go? Well, D3 isn't defined. Is D3? Oh, histogram chart is not defined. Okay, so there's a JavaScript error. That's more like it. Histogram chart. Oh, I'm having a hard time here with D3. I don't even care about this Irwin Hall distribution nonsense. Just really simple histogram. That's all I want. I'm definitely doing something wrong here. Let's just do D3 histogram. Basic histogram in D3. Wow, that is a lot of code for a basic histogram. Am I crazy? Seems like a lot. Get the data so I can actually put my, what was it? What was my endpoint called? Over here. So it's not CSV, but I'm wondering if there's, like, instead of CSV, there's a JSON? Maybe? I don't know. It's worth a shot. Get the vector of the value. Number of bins. Yeah, this is just so much. I think you're right, Coral. This is kind of low level. Yeah, exactly. It's for building visualizations more so than providing a library of high-level charts, which can and are built on top of D3. Yeah, I'm not trying... This is not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to build my own visualizations. I'm trying to just show some data. So I don't know if D3 is what I want. What was the other thing that Dan was talking about? It was DC, dimensional charting. This was maybe built on top of D3 or something? A JavaScript charting library with native cross-filter support, allowing highly efficient exploration on large multi-dimensional data sets. Yeah. I don't know, there's got to be a simpler way to approach this than all this high configuration stuff. I don't know, let's just do a quick search for like JavaScript easy charts. I should say for dummies. Chart.js, simple yet flexible JavaScript charting for designers and developers. Oh, here's some examples from Coral for Vega Light. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm going for. So maybe we'll put chart.js on the back burner for now. I want to see what we're doing here. Tutorial. Publish visualization online. You have learned about basic components of a Vega Lite specification. Let's see how to publish your visualization. So you sent me this specification. So this is the config that I give Vega Lite. Vita Vegemin. Yes. So you've given me, well, you give me a link to this one that someone else sort of did. This is the values. So that's where I'm going to put my data, right? But really, we can figure out the data stuff with some Ajax or whatever. Let's just try it. Let's just try copy and paste. Straight up copy and paste. It's a nice little CDN here. Now it puts it in the head. Do I have to put it in the head? I've got this little CSS here. I may as well put it in the head. And this viz, so it calls it viz. I'll just leave it at that. Keep it simple. I don't have to go through there and change anything. Okay. Oh, whoops. Let's try it. Okay, so we got something happening. That's kind of nifty. It comes with save as image, view source. That's pretty cool. I'm liking this. Open an editor. Oh, that's pretty wild. Okay, well, it's at least working so far. Now I need to figure out how to get the data in here from my endpoint. So is there some sort of fetch or Ajax built into Vega Lite? Yes, of course there is. Oh, and you give me a link to it. Types of data sources. Data from URL. That's exactly what I want. Okay. Data URL like so. So instead of the hard coding, I'll just do this. And I'm guessing this would go away. And I'll just copy and paste my URL here. Maybe that'll work. Oh, fail. Oh, we got something. Your fields likely don't match the demo. Oh, is it specifying fields? I see. Okay. Yeah, of course it does not match the demo. Because my fields are num events and segment. So for the Y, I want num events. And for this one, I want segment. Title is going to be, I don't know, let's call it segment. Aggregate average. I don't necessarily want to aggregate anything, but let's see what happens. Hello? Oh, 404 not found. Oh, favicon, I don't care about that. Okay, so nothing's showing up there. Is it taking a second to... Okay, yeah, it's just taking a second. So probably want to show a spinner there, but whatever. It's not showing what I want it to show. Access tile. I'm curious about this aggregate average business. Yeah, this is more... Okay. This is more like what I want. Ordinal and quantitative. Okay, okay. Yes. So Y, and then I'll specify field. Yeah. See, this is the danger of copy and paste programming. The docs have stuff on how the different data types work. It can handle your dates too, I expect. For my purposes, we can just go, the dates can be ordinal. Because they're already ordered by the query. So I think that should be fine. And then for Y, we want num events, and quantitative works for that. So I think that should be fine. See what happens. That is what I'm looking for. So maybe there's stuff to format the dates. That might be a better thing. I could also use moment for that if I wanted to. I'm guessing. So it's not a beautiful visualization, but that's exactly what I want. So what else I'd probably put on this page if I wanted to make it more complete would be something like, hey, thank you for the bits there, Coral. Appreciate that. And thank you for the help with getting this stuff going. This has been cool. Yeah, and he didn't quite take you down, Calvin. But I think you're only holding on by the strength of the alphabetic order of your name. I don't know. I still don't know what the bits do or how I use them or how it works. But thank you for the bits. I appreciate the sentiment, if nothing else. Okay. So what I want now is I want a label. Something something monies. I guess. I don't know. But maybe we'll bring up the Twitch dashboard. Yeah. Thank you very much, Coral. Appreciate the help. Have a good one. Enjoy your meeting. Input type equals, and what I want is, I probably want a drop down here. This is going to be event type, and it's going to be like option select, and then whatever the event types are, I don't remember. Product view. Calvin Allen has donated 5 bits, one at a time. Yes. You are now the bit leader, whatever that means. Amazing. I had to watch an ad to keep my reign. So that's one thing I do with Twitch when I go to watch other people's streams. If I'm not a subscriber, usually I get a commercial right there on Twitch. And so what I do is while that commercial is running, I will then hit the bits to get more bits, so I can watch like 2 commercials at the same time, to make better use of my commercial watching, whatever. So event type, that's exactly what I want. Sure is taking a while to load it up, that's okay. And then what I'm also getting at is I would have a, oh no, it's a bit war. Whoa. Type equals date. Name equals start date. Start date. So I'd make this a little more interactive. That's what I'm getting at here. Okay, I think this shirt is my best design thus far. What do you use, design shirts all day? I heart Java? Huh? Zoom in. How do I... Is there a zoom? I can't. It's a word cloud of JavaScript frameworks. Oh my goodness. Why would you do such a thing? I heart Java. What did I see? What did I see that recently? Someone had a sticker. Oh, it was Dennis. That's who it was. Twitter/Dennis Rosa. I don't know if you saw this or not, Calvin. But he had a bunch of stickers printed out. He did this design. Where was it? Here we go. Right here. This is ultimate troll sticker. I think if you could get Dennis's permission, you could make a t-shirt out of this. Because that's a shirt I would wear. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So, yeah. You should, you know, I'm sure that Dennis doesn't, I mean, this is clearly not a logo that he designed, but I think you should ask Dennis if, I'll post a link in here. Ask him if you can make some shirts out of that. That would be great. Because I think I like the idea of your word cloud. I heart Java with JavaScript frameworks, but that is a joke that you kind of have to get up close to really appreciate. Whereas Dennis's logo is just like, bam. And it's one of those shirts. Oh my goodness, that's such a great logo. On a shirt, it would be beautiful because it would just really confuse everybody that doesn't understand that they're not the same thing. Because naming is so hard in computer science, right? And yeah, I can just imagine like some poor recruiter, their first month on the job, and that you come to an interview with that shirt. Oh boy, okay. End date. So what I'm thinking here is we can make this interactive. It doesn't even have to be JavaScript, does it? It really doesn't. I mean, it probably would make more sense. Method equals post. Yeah, I could yeah, it could be in JavaScript. That'd be fine. I could put this in a function. Function show load visualization. And I could just put some parameters here. Event type, start date, and date. Just move this code in here. I don't need that. and veggie embed, yeah, something like that. And then I could just call load visualization 0, 2019-08-06, 2019-08-09. Yeah, URL equals. Is there a string interpolation for JavaScript yet, like we have in C#? Backtick. Like, is it JavaScript syntax, or is that a library called backtick? Like that. Backtick something. Event type. Like that. Is that going to work? Start date. End date. Just want to see that. Console.log 0. The whole string needs to be within the backtick. The whole string needs to be within the backtick. I don't quite understand what you mean. I could look it up, I guess. JavaScript string interpolation backtick. Template literals. Oh, like this? Oh, okay. Got it. So this would be $bracket event type. I'm surprised that Visual Studio isn't highlighting this for me. Does that look right? Where was it over here? Oh yeah, seems to be working. I get syntax highlighting in JS files that use it. Might be because you're an HTML file, not a JS file. That would make sense, but I mean, it's doing highlighting within the script tag. So I don't know. You know, what might be good to have in here is like a little loading graphic. I don't know. That's not that big a deal. Or you need to update what version of ECMAScript it's using. Do I set that in here? Or is it a Visual Studio setting? I can't remember exactly how to do that. It's not a big deal, but yeah, it'd be nice to know how to do that. Okay, these don't need to be in a form, per se, but I will create a button. Reload. ID equals button reload. Yeah, in fact, we don't even need to do this. We can just, we'll just call it load. And, all right, so this is where my JavaScript knowledge kind of falls apart. My vanilla JavaScript knowledge is that I need to click handler vanilla.js. So click here, get elements, but like this. I can't remember exactly how to do that. Oh, that was what you were saying from earlier. Okay. So I know how to get elements. Button load equals document dot get element by ID, and I called it btn load. Hey, Syndev I Love Pi, thanks for dropping in. What is your opinion? The worst designed JavaScript API the browser has. Okay, so Syndev I Love Pi, hey, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you asking a question. I am probably not the right person to answer that. I am not much of a front-end developer, as you probably tell here if you hang out for another few minutes. I'm mostly a back-end guy. So, you know, I've used JavaScript in the past, but it's mostly been like jQuery. Yeah, mostly jQuery, like in production stuff. The worst designed JavaScript API the browser has. You know, I vaguely remember, and this is a real edge case sort of thing, but I vaguely remember there was an API that had to do with navigating away from a page or closing a page, and it was a real goat rodeo working with that API. Now that may have changed. That's been a long time since I've looked at that. I don't know. What do you think? Syndev I Love Pi, if I may call you I Love Pi for short. I'd say it's the Web Audio API. I never used Web Audio API, so I never really had a need to do much with audio in the web, or in most of my developer career. Honestly, I've never done much stuff with audio. And not surprising to me that audio would be a huge mess. I'm guessing partially because of all the codecs and legal issues involved, but I would say maybe because probably like myself, many developers don't really use audio that much, so you don't get as much feedback about the API as you do other APIs like Canvas and DOM and whatnot. So I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Anyone else in the chat room there? Just chime in on what JavaScript APIs you don't like, and why. I'd be curious to know. Button load dot. I want to do an add event listener to this. You might be able to hear my daughter playing piano in the background a little bit. She's on the far other side of the house, but I'm seeing a tiny little spike when I hear her play music. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just load visualization. They could have just exposed OpenAL, and that would have been great, but no. They had to come up with their own system that is completely unfriendly to audio synthesis. So, XKCD Web Standards. This is obligatory. There are 14 competing standards. That's ridiculous. We need to develop one universal standard that covers everyone's use cases. Yeah. Soon? Now there are 15 competing standards. This is a problem that's been around for ages. Yeah. Just the way it is. Some things will never change. Okay, so I need to actually set this to be value equals 0, value equals 1, value equals 2. Yeah, it doesn't. It's okay if it's a string. That's fine. Okay, so we'll say event type equals document dot get element by ID, and I called it. I don't have a name for it. ID equals event type. And what do you say? Dot value on that? How do you get a value from an element? Is it just dot value? I don't know. Event var start date equals. It's gonna be the same sort of thing. Let's just do a little copy paste. Start date, end date. Why isn't this easy to line up here? Yeah, I don't know about the audio API. Do you do any streaming? I Love Pi, maybe you could you know, do a stream about that. I'd be interested in that. I've been working on a HTML5 ECMAScript renderer for the most complex subtitle format in the world. What is the most complex subtitle format in the world? I'm only familiar with one subtitle format, I guess. The SRT files. Because every once in a while I'll go to open subtitles and I'll pull something down from that. But I can imagine a more complex subtitle format. Instead of just showing text at the bottom, you might want to say, where am I going to show the text on the screen? That's going to be more complicated. But I don't know. I never thought about subtitles beyond just, you know, text at a timestamp on the screen. Sneaky Pete. Yeah, all I know about is SRT files. I run a Plex server here at home, and so I often grab SRT files to show subtitles. I don't have a hearing issue, but sometimes I like to just have subtitles on the screen because there's always noise in the house, and sometimes it's heavily accented. Advanced Substation Alpha Subtitles. ASS. It sounds familiar. ASS. Not for the obvious reasons, but the format sounds familiar. Advanced Substation Alpha Subtitles. Coral, Heartplex. Yeah, Plex is great. Plex is a lifesaver. Okay, so I'm going to pass in event type here. I think I'm going to go till about 3:30 on this stream. Then we'll see if we can find someone to raid. So what does ASS have to do with the web audio API? Do you... Because it seems like subtitles and audio would be exclusive to each other. Like if it was a video API, I could understand why you might be interested in subtitles. Or is it just... I don't know. Maybe you're working on... Not N-type. You're working on some sort of media website where you need to know all these things, which would make sense. Nothing, but I'm using both in my video player. Yeah, that's what I figured. So you have your own video player that you're working on? If you want to see a test of my renderer, I can link it. Sure, throw a link in there. So I want this one, and oh, the date format might be different. I want console. Yeah, I want a console.login. That's fine. Cannot read property value of null. Okay, so I did something wrong. Event type, start date, end date. Okay, so value is... I should be right. So what else? Start date. Null. Oh, I have it on as a name. That's why. It should be ID. Another one of the But I'm curious to see what the value is going to be. Oh, I didn't select one yet. Okay, good. That's the right format that I want. Perfect. Perfect. And there we go. Look at that. Terrific. All right, well, so I've got something here. I can probably take out this placeholder text right here. And I could also change dates, so I could say product added to cart and do a load. Probably going to look very similar because it's just sort of random sprinkling of data. Did it allow you to paste a link there, syndev I love pie? Okay, see that's pretty good right there. This is looking pretty good. And yeah, I like it. Okay, so I think this is probably worth adding to the tutorial. So let me just bring up the tutorial. Because I'm working on his user profile. .NET. So if I go down to storing user events, this is where I talk about what user events would be, how to model them, how to create a async method to batch them up, save them. Calvin A. Allen has redeemed Twitch shout out. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. But thank you, I guess. It's a good thing. I don't have a graphic for it. It just shows the default zombie. What did you do to make that thing come up? Buckazoids? Did it say buckazoids? What is happening?
Bada bing, bada boom.
Thank you for the follow. Oh boy. BNJ_EUW. I'm going to try to say it. BNJU. Thank you for the follow, BNJU. But, so this will find the latest user events. This is kind of what I was doing already. So it finds the latest ones. But I'm going to now create another sort of sub-tutorial that will show how to create this query using window functions and CTE, which I have somewhere over here. This is a CTE, and this is window function usage. And then it will be used to make a visualization. So I'm not going to make it a full-fledged, like, Vita, what is it called? Vegalite tutorial. Add space between Vega embed links. Do I need that? I'm seeing any Vega embed links. Oh, these right here, maybe? So, that's pretty good. It might be good to put in some sort of loading graphic there. I wonder if Vegalite supports any loading graphics. And I don't see any difference with the links, so I'm just going to leave it out. User event visualization. All right. I'll just do a quick look for loading graphic with Vegalite. Loading graphic. A high-level grammar of interactive graphics. A grammar of graphics. Documentation. Loading. So, yeah, this is all good. All right, here's a link. It's an AWS link. It doesn't pass all the tests yet. Well, I'm going to open this, if you don't mind. I'm going to open this in a incognito window, just in case something going on. Sorry it didn't work out. Oh, I copy and pasted too much. So what do we got here? Oh, this is some sort of video thing. Honey Badger Media Players. That's what you're calling it? If I push play, am I going to see anything anything inappropriate? Just want to make sure before I push play here. syndev I love pie. If it's a Rickroll, totally fine. I'm down with that. Honey Badger Media Player is a working title. All right, I'm pushing play. Oh, it's Big Buck Bunny. Okay. That's the pretty standard video test. Oh, look at all this. That is a lot of subtitle stuff going on. Oh, look at that. It's rotated. Wow. I mean, whoa, look at that. That is some serious subtitling right there. Oh, a little graphic too? So I'm kind of curious. I like the fact that you can do all this stuff with subtitles. But practically speaking, does anybody do anything with those? Like, I could see really enhancing the experience for people who are hearing impaired, to add all kinds of flourishes and stuff that normally you wouldn't get because you can't hear them. But I'm curious, does anyone actually do that? Does anyone actually create subtitles like that? I ask because the most complex subtitles I've seen is for... I'm going to get really obscure now. You're watching obscure media with Matt Groves. There's a Japanese show called Game Center CX. This is a fantastic show where this guy plays old video games. Calvin Allen has redeemed Twitter follow. Is this like some loyalty program stuff that comes with Streamlabs? I have no idea what it is. Anyway, it's this Japanese show called Game Center CX, and this kind of a middle-aged Japanese guy. He plays old video games, but they're fan subbed. I redeemed some Couchbase merch, so get that stuff shipped out, pal. I don't know what that even means. Anyway, yes, they do. You can blank out signs and replace text on them. Okay, I can see. Yeah, so you're not subtitling per se, but if there's like a sign in the picture that's kind of at an angle, you could, like, if it was Japanese text, you could put text over it. And it would look like it matches the background. That's kind of what I'm getting at with this show here. They do some pretty advanced stuff with subtitles, but it's not nearly as crazy as you were just showing me. To kind of translate the game and all the different graphics that they put on the show and things like that. So that's the most complex I've seen subtitles, is the fan subs for the show. Animate the text move with the sign, right? Because if the camera shot's panning, then you can pan the text with it. Okay, yeah, I can see that. That's pretty cool. All right, where was I? So Calvin has Couchbase swag listed. I have 100,000 buckazoids. I requested a shirt and notebook. Okay, I don't know what that is. I think I remember fiddling with that stuff from Streamlabs. But none of that is binding. However, Calvin, if you want swag, I will send you some Couchbase swag. I've got it. And in fact, I don't remember if you were here for this, but for the intro, I have a little swag giveaway thing going here. All you gotta do is, and this for Calvin, I mean, look, you can just have this stuff. You don't have to do any of this thing. But understand the point of buckazoids. You do have it listed. So I vaguely remember setting up Streamlabs that you entered information for a loyalty program, but I have no idea how it works. I never did much with it. So I think I typed in the word buckazoid somewhere, but I don't know. I don't know. Where is it listed exactly? Is there like a exclamation point command or something? Anyway, if you want some free swag, here's what you gotta do. Follow me on Twitch, and then when I send you the swag, post a selfie with it on Twitter. That's it. Give me your address, your Twitch name. I'll send you some stuff. I got there's a floating window with your face on it. In the Twitch view. Yes. Floating window with your face on it. Oh, right over here? All-in-one tool. What happened? Coral has redeemed. Ask a question. Okay. Whoa, we're getting a little bit Inception-y here. I don't... Down below that one. What? Build an extension. Reported. Right next to your real head. I don't see anything. Oh, right here. Oh. Okay. No idea. I'm going to turn this off before it blows up the universe. That's interesting. I'll have to turn that off or something. But if you want to ask a question, Coral, go right ahead. You don't need to spend any buckazoids. Weird. Okay. Since you're here, Coral, do you know anything about like a loading graphic for Vegelite, by any chance? Data generator. I mean, I could probably build one in. If you want to see an actual usage of the format instead of just a test file, I can link that too. Sure. Yeah, throw a link in there. As long as it's like not adult content. Otherwise, you know, I assume it's not. Otherwise, go right ahead. Not that I know if I handled it externally. Yeah, I figured. That's just kind of a pain to have to do that, because then I have to like... Well, then there's got to be a callback, I assume, somewhere for veg embed or somewhere in the spec. So I got to do the callback. It's going to hide the loading graphic, and then we'll show loading graphic when this starts, etc. So wrap it all in view. No, I'm not going to wrap it all in view, just for really simple visualization for this tutorial. It has nothing to do with JavaScript, by the way. This is a database tutorial. And if I wanted to really get into visualization, I'd probably use something like I did for the Cincinnati Reds, and use this tool called Noe, which is a tool that can just natively plug right into Couchbase data, Couchbase queries, which is what I did with this graphic down here to visualize like heat map points on a Google map. All right, here is the sample from SynDev I Love Pi. This is a more advanced subtitle. So this looks like some sort of Japanese programming. Like D3.js. I was using D3.js earlier, and I struggled with it. So what timestamp could I really see the subtitles, the advanced subtitle capabilities? It looks like there's a little cursor at the end of all these subtitle lines. Oh wait, was that label on the salt and pepper there, or whatever it was? Soy sauce? Huh. Well, we could just watch anime all day, but I'm going to just give it a quick pause there, because I'm going to be wrapping up here soon, a little further in. Yeah, if you've got an idea of a timestamp, just throw it on over here. But I think I'm going to close up the stream here. I've got some good content. Thank you very much for your help, Coral. Let's see who else. Let me see who else do I need to thank here. Calvin redeeming all his free swag. Whatever. Thank you for all the bits, Coral and Calvin. Fenchmeister followed before the stream started. Thank you, Fenchmeister. B&J, thank you for the follow. SynDev I Love Pi, thanks for dropping in and showing us some cool stuff with subtitles. And yeah, looks like you're doing some cool stuff. I am interested in that. So next time I stream, which will probably be Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern U.S. time, come on back. Show us the progress you've made. Show us some cool stuff. Happy to show off the kind of stuff you're working on. And also, if you're streaming any of this stuff yourself, you should definitely check out SynDev I Love Pi. Follow him on Twitch. See what, or her, I don't know, SynDev I Love Pi. That's a man or a woman's name, no idea. But follow SynDev I Love Pi if you want to see more stuff about advanced subtitles. Okay, so let's see. Who is on my team that we could raid?
Bada bing, bada boom.
Oh, thank you for the follow, SynDev I Love Pi. Appreciate that. So, let's see. InstaFluff, the Michael Jolly. Liza Live. Doing some game dev stuff. Relevant Jesse. Have I ever rated Relevant Jesse? I don't think so, but it looks like Relevant Jesse's got some Visual Studio, some C# WinForms work. That sounds right up my alley. So we're going to go ahead and raid Relevant Jesse. If you're going to go over the raid with us, make sure to post that Calvin Allen's head, the bada bing, bada boom emoji, and be nice while you're over there. If you're not going to raid, thank you for joining me today. And like I said, I'll be back again Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern U.S. time. Get the raid started here. And yeah, that'll do it for me. Appreciate everybody stopping in, asking questions. Hope you all had a good time. And I'll see you on the other side.